America's Got Germans! My name is Annie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm so excited because I have a very special guest. His name is MJ. He's American and he moved from the US to Germany with his wife and 4 kids. Guess what? He also has a YouTube channel. I will make sure to link it in the description box below, so you should definitely check it out. He also uploaded a video about what Americans can learn from Germans. And as you know, I uploaded a video about what the other way around, Germans can learn from Americans. And that's why we thought, hey, why don't we make a video together? So here is part 1 where we talk about what Americans can learn from Germans, and you can find the other part on his channel. So if you like what you see, don't forget to watch all the other videos. But now let's get started. Hi MJ, I'm so excited to have you today. I mean, you know that I love your videos. You talk a lot about your experience living in Germany, and I learned so much from it. So I'm really happy that we do this together today.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to be here. So I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Me too, and I'm so curious to learn your thoughts about what Americans can learn from Germans. So yeah, okay. So let me start. Well, one of the biggest things is that everything around the stranger danger topic, I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but if you talk to an American, it almost feels like no child is safe. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I mean, any crime against a child is heart-wrenching, obviously, but I actually looked it up and I checked out the statistic, and it says that today's murder rates are lower than when many of today's parents were kids. And I feel that many parents worry about kidnapping, but the chances, according to the National Center of Missing and Exploiting Children, non-family abductions make up less than 1% of the missing children cases. Wow. So, but I feel here everyone thinks that kids are not safe, and yeah, they are a lot more protected. And coming from a country where it's so normal, okay, to let your child work to school, I'm sure you experienced that. You saw the little ones walking to school by themselves. Yeah, I really had to adapt to that lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think it definitely is something that you see a lot in the States. And I think there is this fear of, if I'm not watching my kid, they're going to be stolen. And these things do happen, and they are tragic. But yeah, like you said, the statistics are so low on that actually happening. But as parents, we are so paranoid about something happening to our child. And it is certainly a huge difference. Because like you said, like for me, like I would walk my kids to school in the States. I don't even remember how old we were, I don't even remember how old they were when we started letting them walk alone. And we lived in a very safe neighborhood, in a safe city, very close to the school. So it wasn't even far, but it took us a long time to be like, okay, you can walk to school by yourself now. And like you said, here, I mentioned it in my video, like kids walk to school so young here, and it still freaks me out a little bit seeing these little kids just walking to school by themselves. And even when my kids were at schools that were a little further away from where we live, seeing kids taking trams and buses by themselves at such a young age, and I'm like, I can't even imagine letting my, at the time, 7 or 8 year old take a bus across the city by himself. It freaked me out, and I don't know how we can kind of change that mindset to give our kids more independence in the States. So
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, in some places also here, I mean, school is that far away that my kids cannot walk or cannot bike to school, but then maybe little things, like also at playgrounds, I see people being very close to the parent. They always have an eye on them. I mean, someone could come and, kidnap the child. And I don't think this is a realistic fear. So at least in some places like, playgrounds, maybe it would help to trust the child a little bit more, things like that. But I get it. I mean, as I said, schools are so far away, so it just doesn't work that and there are no buses and trains usually.
Yeah. Now I don't know how it is where you live, because you're in Boston, but like even in most places in the U.S. that aren't in big cities, at least, there are school buses. The stereotypical big yellow American school buses, and so yeah, the kids can just, you bring your kid to the bus stop and they get on the bus with the other students, and there's a bus driver who takes them right to school. And so that, I think, is considered extremely safe in America.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know about rural parts of Germany, but yeah, here in a city, there's no school buses. Do school buses exist anywhere in Germany?
Yeah, they
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially, I think, in the more rural areas where they don't have a lot of public transportation, they definitely have school buses.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I just, for me, yeah, like you said, at the playgrounds and things like that, when we were in the States, yeah, I would always have my eye on my child. Like, be out in the park, and if they get too far away from me, I'm like, nope, come back. Or, again, the playground and different things. If I can't see them, then I'm like, where are they? And they're in like a little tube on the playground, and I'm like freaking out because I can't see them.
Yeah.
And it is thankfully something I have learned to relax about here in Germany, is that now we go to a playground and now we sit on the bench, we talk, I can read a book, look something up online, whatever it is, and the kids, they're just playing. And I've been able to learn that. I still haven't learned to let my kids walk to school by themselves yet. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think you're right. I think, it's definitely something American parents can learn, is that, like, look, you have to teach your kids how to be independent and let them be independent, or else they'll always end up relying on somebody else to help them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so this is truly something we actually miss here. And I had to teach my son. He was 4 years old, but before we moved, he was okay to walk to his friends by himself. I mean, it was just 2 houses down the street, but he was okay doing that. And here he's not even allowed to play on the streets by himself, because someone would call the police, I would think. Like, if he would be outside, and they don't know, the neighbors would not, but someone would see him walking around by himself, that could happen, right? So, yeah,
it's definitely, I think, common thing. It does, again, depend a lot on where you live, but in certain places, if the kid's out by himself, like, oh my gosh, that kid's lost, like, gotta help them, and someone's gonna call the police, or and it's just a different mindset with the parenting. And I think you're 100% right, is that American parents, we are so scared and so uptight about what's gonna happen to our kids that sometimes we don't let anything happen to them, and then they're so dependent on us to solve problems for them, to help them, to guide them. Where here, I think in Germany, I think kids become so much more independent so much earlier, and I think that's really healthy. So 100% right. Americans certainly need to learn that from the Germans.
Yeah, I have another fun one. Number 2 is, and this will be interesting. So it's about body positivity and getting naked. So I really had to learn, or my kids, not me, that it's not okay to run around outside in our backyard naked when it's summertime. We have a little pool and they like to play in there. And the first time my son just got undressed, I was like, no, get your pants on. That's not okay. And it was so difficult for me to explain it to him without making him aware about the real reason, I would think. He was asking me why, but it was a bit difficult for me to explain it. And then another day, we went to a sports class, and there was a girl, she forgot her t-shirt. So she had a long sleeve and she was hot. And the mom took it off and she tried to somehow wrap it around her body to cover the private parts, which were non-existing. She's 4 years old. And it took me a while to understand, why is she doing this? Just get it off. There's nothing to see. So this is really, really interesting and new to me. I know, maybe you had the experience the other way and you're a bit scared now because you, I don't know.
Well, fortunately, we did a lot of research about things to kind of keep an eye out for in Germany. And again, the nakedness was one of them. And so when we got here and when we went to a lake, for example, seeing people that were just fully naked was not a shock to us because we were expecting it, but very different when you actually see it in person. You're like, there's just naked people around. And like you said, with the kids, like, there are tons of fountains in the city. And a cool thing about fountains in the city here in Germany is that you can just go in them and cool off and enjoy them. Where in the States, I think all fountains are like off limits. Like you don't see people playing in the water in the fountains, but here, not only do you see people playing in the water, like you said, kids just totally stripped down, 100% naked, and it's just so normal. It's normalized, and it's very, very different. And I have mixed feelings on it, just to be honest. I think it's a huge positive in the fact that like it's body acceptance. Like we are just what we are. Like the naked people you see on the beach, like they're not supermodels. They're not whatever. They're just normal people, average bodies, and 100% comfortable with that. Whereas I think even those of us wearing bathing suits in the US, we're like super kind of conscious of how we look and what parts are sticking out where. And some of us that if we gain a little too much weight, maybe we'll keep our t-shirt on at the pool, and we're just ashamed sometimes of how we look. Where I think there's this really healthy comfort with your own body here in Germany, and like normalizing it for kids. I can understand why Americans have this fear of normalizing nakedness, because kind of going back to what you said about the stranger danger and all that, is that there's this paranoia about somebody doing something to my child, and if my child is naked, well then they're going to be viewed by that predator in a certain way. But like some of the statistics you read is that it's not that common. But I think even though we know it's not that common, we're just still scared of it. And maybe that speaks to something about the American culture being a culture of fear. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's just interesting. Yeah, I also noticed on the other side that my daughter, a lot of times when we go to school, or even my son, they comment on her appearance too. This is also something I noticed. So they say, I love your dress, or I love your hair, or I love your shoes. And I know it's meant to be in a nice way. And the first is like, oh, that's really nice to say. But they say it now, every day. And I think that's a very American thing. And my daughter started now to be concerned about how she looks, and sometimes she asks me, oh, do I look cute today? And she's 3 years old. And I feel Germans don't do it. They still do it, but not as often or to that extent as an American does it. I don't know, have you noticed things like that? Or
I feel like it's meant to be something that encourages the kids, that affirms them and says, oh, you are beautiful, you are, but I think I can understand that it's kind of going the wrong way. It's putting this emphasis on something that shouldn't matter. Like, it shouldn't matter if your outfit's cute. It shouldn't matter if your hair is pretty that day or any day. So I think it's kind of one of those things that's meant to be a positive, meaning like we're trying to encourage them to love themselves and that self-love.
Yeah, being self-confident. Yeah.
But maybe it's not so much positive because we're emphasizing the wrong thing. We're saying you're beautiful or you look nice, as opposed to you're here, and just because you're here, that makes me happy, how can we, and maybe from a German perspective, it's like, I think it's good to affirm children, but can we do it in a way that doesn't overemphasize the wrong things? Because we're also shouldn't be like, oh, you're so smart, because then the people that maybe not naturally gifted, well, then I'm not worthy because I'm not smart like that person. So how can we affirm kids without messing
it's interesting.
up?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think maybe it's the in-between way is the best. So sometimes maybe Germans can affirm kids a little bit more, or encourage them a little bit more by, saying you're doing this, you're whatever, smart or whatever. And Americans doing it a little less. So I think something in between would be the best way. But I don't know. I don't have the answer. Maybe you have the answer, so let us know.
I don't know if I have the answer, but I just think something is that Germans often say, schön, dass du da bist. Great that you're here, and just affirming like, hey, it's great to see you. It's great that you're here. It's just like it's just because you're here, it makes me happy. I'm just happy to see you, as opposed to I'm happy to see you because you look pretty, or I'm happy to see you because you're smart, or I'm glad you're here because you're answering questions. Like, I'm just happy to see you. I'm glad you're here. And
Yeah,
so
I
I
never
think,
thought about that.
yeah, because
I
that's
never thought
something.
about it. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, like when we go to our church, and schön, dass du, if I can speak, schön, dass du da bist. Yeah. So and hearing that, like, oh yeah, thanks. It's good to be here. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
just that welcoming and just the acknowledging, like, hey, I'm just happy you're here, regardless of how you
Yeah, I
look,
like that.
regardless of how smart you are. So I think, yeah, I think that's something that Americans can definitely learn from Germans. And again, I don't know if that's super common here, but it's something I've heard.
Yeah,
So
that's
maybe all of
a
us.
super common thing to say. I say that all the time
Yeah.
when my friends come over. Yeah, I say that a lot. Yeah, but I never thought about it. It's yeah,
Yeah, I think
like
I
it.
think in the States we say "nice to see you," but I feel like when Germans say that, like it feels more real. Maybe that comes down to like the superficialness of Americans. So we're so used to just saying that, like, "Oh yeah, great to see you," even if it's not. Whereas I feel like it is more heartfelt, and so maybe that's one way that teachers or people that are in interacting with kids can affirm the kids without putting unhealthy emphasis on something.
Right. Or one thing I just came up, or I was just thinking about is they're doing a really fun thing at school. So every morning, my daughter has to look into a mirror and talk to herself and say whatever she feels that day. I'm beautiful. I'm happy. I'm glad to be here. And she has to say it to herself. And I think that might be also a better way to teach them about self-awareness and when it comes from you and not from someone else telling you, maybe that also makes a difference.
Yeah, and I think that's a great lesson, a lifelong lesson, to learn that affirmation, that self-affirmation, because you're always going to be with you. And so when you learn how to talk positively to yourself, that's going to make a huge difference in your life. So that's awesome that they do that there. I think I've heard of that here and there, but I've never seen it with any of my kids in their schools. So I should tell my kids to start doing that.
Yeah, you can start doing that. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one on my list, MJ, is that I believe Germans enjoy life a little bit better and they have a little bit better balance of, work-life balance, you call it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you think, but I feel Americans in general, they work longer hours. And they don't separate private life from work that much, which we talked about in your video, because you were saying that you think Americans usually choose a job they love a lot more than Germans do. Maybe that might be a reason. But I also think, like, when I look, let's say weekends, a lot of families here plan their weekends around the kids. So they go to soccer practice and they do all that kind of activities to make the kid happy. Yeah. What I feel Germans do a little bit, they do a better job in finding activities that are more family oriented. So the whole family enjoys. They just basically take the kid along. So I took my kids to concert I wanted to see, and we had no babysitter. So I just, got them noise canceling headphones and we went. And I mean, we took them to New York and we do all kind of different things and we just take them,
Yeah.
I don't know what your experience is.
No, I have to agree with you. Obviously we're parents of 4 kids, and so much of our life since having kids, if not all of it, seemed to always be around, like, when we weren't working, it was like, all right, taking care of the kids. So, weeknights, it's helping them with their schoolwork, or a lot of times weeknight activities. A lot of kids did dance and different activities like that. So, driving them to and from their activities during the week after school's over. And the weekends, like if they have games or recitals, or if they want to spend time with friends or whatever. So a lot of your life as a parent in America is being a chauffeur or being an activity coordinator, where you're just running around, doing things with the kids because you want them to have the best childhood possible.
Yeah.
But then we forget that we're people too, and we still need to do things that we enjoy. And like you said, I agree with you that Germans and Germany in general is so much better at having things that the family can do together. That's not just like, oh, I'm going to do this thing because my kids will love it, or I'm going to get a babysitter because I want to do those things that my kids won't love. And one of my favorite examples is like beer gardens and playgrounds, is because like you can have the restaurant and the beer garden and they have a playground in it. And so you can sit there and you can eat. And near us, there's one. And you can, get a beer or not get a beer. You can get some food, and there's a playground. So the kids are running around, they're playing, they're having a good time. But you're sitting down, enjoying a meal, enjoying a beer, just relaxing as an adult, while the kids are doing kid things. And
Are we just having a beer at a regular playground? That's also okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
sitting there
it goes back to something we talked about another time with like kids being independent on the playgrounds. And so because there's that independence, now the kids can be out having fun. You don't have to be super watching over them the whole time, and you can sit there with your veg beer or at the restaurant, and you can kind of have an eye on them, but you're not worried about them because they're kids. They're going to be fine. And I think there's a lot of things like that, and there's a lot of activities and places to go that are, I don't want to say family friendly because America has family friendly places, but
they are
family focused. Where like
they just don't think about taking them. Also, like taking them to restaurants, we take them to restaurants all the time, and of course, families do that here, but not as often because they think of it as like, oh no, that's gonna be a struggle, But we just do it, and after a while, they get used to it. They know how they're supposed to behave. They don't do it all the time, but it's getting better. And we just take them. And I just wanted to add, it's not that we don't drive our kids to soccer practice. I mean, we do that too, but not like the whole entire weekend is filled up with around kids' activities. So we try to, everyone, gets, So for instance, tonight I have tomorrow, but anyways, I have a girls' night out. I'm looking really forward to it. And I did it a lot in Germany, and here I asked my friend, hey, why don't we go out for girls' night? And they were like, oh, yeah, we should. So we did it, and then they told me they haven't done it in 5 years, and I was shocked. I was like, what? You have never been on a girls' night in the last 5 years since you had kids? I was like, yeah. And then they loved it so much, so we're doing it now every month.
Nice.
So I think it's always important that you take care of yourself too, to be able to be a good parent. And sometimes I think Americans are more family oriented, which is also great. I mean, that's important, but they sometimes forget that they also have to care for themselves.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we don't remember until it's too late, and then you have that midlife crisis where, like, because you didn't allow yourself to be yourself for so long because your kids, now your kids are gone, and now you're like, I don't know how to be a person anymore. And I think the Germans have a better way of allowing a parent to be their own person while still being a good parent. And I think there's a better balance there somehow. So definitely something American parents can learn is like, you're allowed to be you. You don't have to be super mom 24/7. 24/7. You don't have to be super dad 24/7. You can still be you. You can have those girls' nights out, the guys' nights out. You can go again, do family activities that you enjoy, not just something that the kids enjoy. And I think,
exactly.
I agree with you. Germans do it so much better than we do.
Yeah. Talking about restaurants, another thing I wish that would be different here is that they rush you out of the restaurant as soon as you're on, or even if you're still eating. I mean, they bring you the check and they basically tell you to leave as soon as possible. I definitely wish that would be different because I miss sitting down with my friends, having another drink, just talk. But you cannot do it. Like, I haven't found a single place where that's okay. So they would definitely, let you know that you're welcome to leave.
Yes, I 100% agree with you there, and it's something we love about Europe in general, Germany in particular. Although Germany's not the best at it, Greece is the best at it. Greece, like if you're there for less than like 4 hours, you left too soon, But here, no, it's amazing here, and in the U.S., it's funny because we often talk about like service, like at a restaurant in the U.S. being so much more friendly. They're always helpful. Can I get you a refill? What else can I get you? What else how can I help you? And the service being so much more friendly, but when you finish eating, it's not friendly anymore. It's like, get out. I need to put somebody else on this table. Where here, it's like, okay, you're done, and you don't see your waiter or waitress here for an hour. And they're like if you want to leave and you haven't paid yet, you have to go find the waiter yourself. But I love being able to sit back at the end of a meal, digest, talk, take a little pause and just enjoy ourselves and not have that rushed feeling, like you said.
Yeah, you basically have to ask for the check. If you don't ask for it, I mean, sometimes if they are booked out, they sometimes might ask you, we are really, really sorry, but could you, I mean, we need the table. So they apologize for you that you have to leave earlier, but usually you can sit as long as you want. And unless you ask for the check, they will not ask you to leave. Yeah. Another thing is the kids menu. In every restaurant, it doesn't matter if you go for Italian food or it doesn't matter. They always have the same 5 things, which are burger, mac and cheese, fries, hot dog, and I forgot one.
Chicken nuggets.
Of course, chicken nuggets, there it is. So, of course, my kids love it, and now they figured that they have it everywhere. So they will, of course, every time we go to a restaurant, they will just order fries and mac and cheese, new favorite. While in Germany, sometimes they have a kids menu, but usually they just offer to prepare a smaller portion of the regular things on the menu. And my kids would eat it, it's fine. But now they are so used to ordering fries, and of course they love it, so they will do it. So this is something I miss, that they have, a more kids-friendly menu,
Yeah, and I agree with you, where it's like in the US, it's like not always the best food. It's just like something that kids eat. And I understand that a lot of kids are picky eaters. I have a picky eater for one of my kids. He is super, super picky, getting better. But so yes, I can understand that parents don't want to spend a lot of money on the kids' food, or, they don't want the kid to not eat the food. But yeah, even the kids' menus here are definitely better. Like, they're smaller portions of the adult size. So, you can still get a schnitzel. It's just a smaller schnitzel, and it's still much better than chicken nuggets, both as how it's cooked and, the quality of the food. But yeah, you can get real food just in a kid-sized plate. And I love the Rauberteller, right? Rauberteller?
Oh yeah. I was about to bring that up. I was about to ask you if you know that. Räuberteller,
yes.
Räuberteller.
Räuberteller, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that too. It's because we have an adventurous eater in one of our kids, so we can get her the Räuberteller, and then, all right, here's some of my crazy meal that you would never order on your own, and then a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and now they're experimenting with new foods, and they're learning how to appreciate new foods without me having to buy them a whole meal. So.
Yeah, maybe you have to explain what a Räuberteller is. So a Räuberteller is basically an empty plate. So they will give you an empty plate for free, and they encourage the kids to try whatever the adults are eating. Robber plate, or how would you translate it? Robber plate.
Yeah, you translate it as a robber plate, but yeah. And sometimes in the US, you can say, oh, can I just get a second plate? And sometimes they charge you, like, oh, well, if you're going to split the meal, we're going to charge you extra, which it makes no sense, because you're literally not getting any food. Like, you're literally just bringing me a plate, but they want to make a little extra money from it. Some places do, some places don't, but it's not on the menu. Whereas here, like in Germany, I've seen it on the menu, like, oh, you can ask for the extra plate. And I think that's an awesome way to get kids to try new foods and
to try new things.
Yeah.
Oh, have you heard about Kindercafés? You know what that is?
Kindercafé. Is that just whipped cream? No.
No. That's the actual place, like a coffee place, like cafe in the terms of coffee place, and it's you would translate like a children's coffee place, maybe. Yeah. And it's for moms or dads, whatever, to bring their kids, and they have things to play with, usually in the middle of the place, and then the moms or dads, they sit on the side and they enjoy coffee while the kids are playing. So it's actually an indoor playroom, and then with adults can have a coffee and talk. And I have never seen that here, and I think it's such a good idea. If you want to meet with a friend and you have little ones, they can play and you can have a coffee. It's just a very kid-friendly place.
I don't think I've seen that. A Kindercafé. I'm thinking a kid's coffee, where like I've heard like the kid wants a coffee just like the grown-up, and they just kind of fill it with whipped cream. I've seen that before. But
they do that there too. So they
But no, I haven't seen a Kindercafé here, and I'm gonna have to search for one, because that sounds awesome. Is it mostly for like the smaller kids?
Yeah, I was just about to say it's more for maybe your kids are too old. They will not enjoy it as much. It's more for the little toddler babies you would usually bring there. Yeah.
Still, that's awesome. It goes back to what we were saying, that it's more common here, from what I see, to have places that are friendly for both the adults and the kids. So
Yeah. And hotels, that's the same thing, like children's hotels. We looked for it because we love to go to Kinderhotels in Germany, which is basically also like just a super friendly place. They offer childcare, but they also offer things for adults. So they have adults only sauna or whatever. So you can enjoy that place as a family. Yeah, it's just a very nice way to enjoy your vacation. While here we looked it up, there are some places they have, but they are so ridiculous expensive that, you cannot afford it. And then they are like really big, like they have 100 slides and whatever. Not the one, but here, in Germany, there are a lot of Kinderhotels where you can really have a good time as a family, where everyone can enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I haven't seen the Kinderhotels either, but we'll have to look for it next time we're traveling. It's again, I think you're right that Americans can learn so much from Germans as far as like being able to do these kid and family friendly things that, whereas, okay, just kid things or just adult things, like why can't we do it all together and be able to enjoy life together? Yes, there are some things in America, but I think Germany has it more built into like a way of life as opposed to like, this special family thing that you have to go do.
Yeah, I love that. I definitely want to mention that you should definitely go and check out MJ's video because he's also he has a video up talking about things that Americans can learn from Germans. So make sure you check out his channel. Don't forget it.
Thank you.
And there's more to learn.
Absolutely.
All right, with that being said, I would say that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you soon.
Yeah, see ya. Thanks.
Hi there, I just wanted to say thank you for watching today's video. I hope you had as much fun watching it as we had recording it. And if you liked what you saw, don't forget to check out part 2 in which we talk about what Germans can learn from Americans, and you can find that on MJ's channel. I will make sure to link in the description box below. Thanks again, and I hope I see you soon. Wiedersehen!